Introduce Dr. Ann Hester. Dr. Ann was here with us a week or so ago, so she's back again. It was an amazing session last time, and it's going to be amazing tonight. But I'm going to go ahead and reintroduce her for those of you that didn't get a chance to hear about her amazing bio. Dr. Ann Hester is a visionary physician and unstoppable force in empowering people to take control of their health naturally. As a board-certified internal medicine physician, transformational health coach, and international speaker, Dr. Hester's mission goes beyond medicine. She's here to help you thrive, not just survive. She's been featured in powerhouse publications like Time and Newsweek, and has appeared on CNN. Dr. Hester's insights and strategies have impacted lives worldwide. With 3 decades of experience, she's an author of celebrated health books and articles that make wellness accessible, exciting, and achievable for everyone. So tonight, as Tim said, Dr. Hester is going to talk about her course called Breakthrough Weight Loss, Proven Methods from Top Health Experts. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Dr. Ann.
Thank you so much. And let me know when you can see my screen.
We can see your screen, but it's not in presentation mode.
Okay. That's because my mouse is giving me a hard time. I'm trying to get it there. Are we good?
Now it's in that speaker mode, so still not quite there. You see the next slide. Needs to be in slideshow mode.
Okay, in slideshow. How's that?
Yep, still on that.
So we're seeing your view from when you're presenting, and then you can see the current slide and the next slide. We just need to see the presentation.
Go back to where you were.
Multiple screens, you might be on the wrong screen.
Yeah.
I just switched the screens.
Yeah.
I do have multiple screens, and I switched it up.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any notes. It's a very brief presentation, so if you guys are okay, I'm not sure what else to do, and I don't want to waste your time.
Okay.
So this course is called Breakthrough Weight Loss, Proven Methods from Top Health Experts. And again, I am Coach Dr. Ann. I am board certified in lifestyle medicine, which is an emerging field of medicine that deals with decades of scientific research on how to prevent, treat, and reverse disease, and not just get a pill once it occurs. So I'm a speaker, author, a variety of other things, but enough about me. So let's just get down to the course. So there are multiple contributors. Dr. Priya Jasingani, she's a triple board certified physician. She's board certified in obesity, endocrinology, internal medicine. She's an assistant professor in endocrinology. You might have seen her on ABC News or some other major media outlet. And below me, I'm a double board certified physician, a health coach, author, and columnist. Dr. Steph Dorwith, she is a doctor of physical therapy, and she's a fitness expert, and she's been on multiple covers of different publications. And then we have Dr. Atne. She is a nutritionist, and she is a gut microbiome expert. So those of you who've heard about the gut microbiome, it is huge. When I was in medical school decades ago, they told us that the gut is a second brain. And now we're learning how much that's actually the case. So much goes on in the gut. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview. So Dr. Jasingani, she talks about, just gives you an overview, talks about some medications, and then we have Dr. Steph, who actually does a workout, gives you some workout information and does it, with you, for you.
Dr. Ann, I just want you to know that what we're seeing, it's just a pink background. There's nothing on it. So if you're showing something, okay, there you go.
Okay. So for some reason, when I bought this new Zeddy microphone, whenever I put in the microphone, the audio goes away. So I'm going to go back and I'm just going to narrate this. It's narrated in the real video, but I can't have that and this at the same time for whatever reason. So I give 100 fast facts. For instance, some hormones impact our desire for food. One called ghrelin makes you growl, and it signifies hunger, and the leptin does the opposite. After you lose weight, leptin levels decrease. And then we eat until the stress receptors in our stomachs tell us we're full. And processed foods are high in calories and low in fiber. So we eat a lot of calories by eating more food, but we're not getting the fiber, so the stress receptors are off. Some scientists believe that processed foods change our hormones and metabolism and raise our set point. I'll talk about that in a moment. Comfort food stimulates the same areas of the brain that are stimulated with sex, music, and other activities. So I want to talk about this set point. So they used to say when I was in medical school, calories in, calories out. There's a whole lot more than that. So we have these hormones that impact how hungry we are, and when we're satiated, when we're hungry. There are all these hormonal fluxes that impact what we eat. In addition to that, just like you have a thermostat on the wall, you have a thermostat in your brain. It's in the part of the brain called the hypothalamus. It's like the set point. And so if your body is used to a certain weight, you all have seen, I guess, the Biggest Losers. But if your body is used to a certain weight, once you start losing the weight, that set point is saying something's wrong. She's sick. Your metabolism goes down, so you gain all that weight back. That has a lot to do with why you have the yo-yo effect. You lose the weight and you think you're doing well, but because the set point resets, because your brain thinks that there's something wrong with you, so you need to gain the weight back, then you end up gaining it back. So that's what I mean by the set point. Also, it's extremely important to understand that food manufacturers have figured out how to make that perfect combination of foods that have the sugar, the fat, and the salt that hits the pleasure centers of the brain, hyper-palatable foods that you just can't stop eating. And you eat more because you eat and you feel good. And there is a physiologic basis for that. And so you're eating more and more and more because your body is loving this, the impact of what it's doing to your brain. And as a result, you could be gaining more weight, your arteries can become more clogged, and it just sets this cascade in order. And then we have Big Pharma that comes and says, okay, well, you have spent all this money, all this time messing up your set point in your brain, gaining all this weight, you have all these diseases. Well, let us come and you give us some money now to give you medications that are banded on the disease that you have. So the point is to kind of break that cycle. It is not as easy once the cycle gets rolling as it is if you jump in on the front end, but nevertheless, no matter where you start, it's huge. I mean, you can lose. I had one patient, I'll never forget, he was my favorite story in decades of medicine. I used to always counsel him about weight loss. I was crazy about him. I used to talk to him a lot, and one day he stopped coming. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I went too far. I offended him. A couple of years later, I opened the door. Dr. Hester, I lost 99 pounds. I was trying to wait till I hit 100, but because I have bronchitis, I had to come in and see you a pound early. We can do a tremendous amount to change the trajectory. So let me just take you here. The health consequences. A few years ago, 1 in 8 people lived with obesity, and adult obesity has more than doubled since 1990, and adolescent obesity has quadrupled. So if over a period of time we see a doubling, it's not that our genes changed. With epigenetics, I mean, some people say, well, everybody in my family is large. Well, maybe there may be a genetic component, but maybe everybody in the family had the same habits. And so we no longer say, okay, your genes are your destiny. Your genes are important, but what you do will turn the genes off and on. Another thing, in 2023, 23 states reported over a third of the adults have obesity, but 10 years prior, no state reported that. So that also lets you know that we have power to make changes. 4 out of 5 visits to the doctor are believed to be due to lifestyle-related conditions, and we have impact over those. So in the last slide, I just want to let you know that there are so many complications of obesity. The life expectancy goes down significantly because there are so many diseases, everything from heart attack, stroke, high blood pressure, certain forms of cancer. It just keeps going and going. Blood clots, many, many things, not to mention the sheer pain of severe arthritis in the knees or back pain or so forth. And so this course really just gives a practical ways to approach how you're addressing any weight issues that you have in such a way that you can take these 100 fast facts and you can take what all these other experts have said and you can plot your course to go in a different direction, completely change your health trajectory. And by doing that, you can literally impact how long you live and the quality of your life. So I know time is of the essence. So that was just an overview. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
All right, any questions from the group? You can raise your hand. Questions or comments, you can go ahead and raise your hand in the in your action buttons. While we're waiting for people to ask a question, I always have questions. So let me ask you, this is a premium course, correct? And yes. You shared the PowerPoint of the contributors. What are you walking us through in the course? So are we going through like our own assessments and reading literature, or what? How was the course kind of laid out?
Oh no, there are a lot of mainly videos.
Okay.
And so what I put up was my contribution deals with the 100 fast facts. And so I put up like number 23 through 25. So there are multiple videos of me going through the fast facts narrated.
Gotcha.
The nutritionist goes through the gut microbiome and explains what it is, the foods that you eat that put you at risk for obesity and what you can do differently. Dr. Steph, she literally does a workout, and you can learn that workout, and that will help you get in shape. And Dr. Jasingani, she gives you an overview of obesity and the significance of it. So we take you from what it is, the significance of it, what you can do about it, everything from the food that you're eating that is jeopardizing your health to all these fast facts that you can just add to your everyday life and be cognizant of what's going on around you so you can make better choices.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. That's a great overview. That'll be great. All right, got a couple questions. Go ahead, Vienna. And make sure you come off of mute. There you go.
All right. So my question is, a year and a half ago, I put on about 15 pounds around a wedding and so on. And so I've been curious so I'm postmenopausal. Do I need to get hormones checked? I've got a yearly checkup coming at the end of February. What do you recommend for indicators that might help?
I think that you need to sit down with your doctor and go over everything that surrounded that. If you say, that over a couple of months, I just noticed I was eating more, he's going to take a different path than if you say, okay, on that day I ate more, but other than that, I've been doing other things, but I still gained the weight. So when you sit down and explain all that to your doctor will say, I need to take path A, B, and C versus D, E, and F. So it's not one thing, it's the whole history.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Dr. Monica.
Hi, Dr. Hester. I can't come off of, I have to stay black because I don't have a camera, so you don't get to see me today. But my question is, after you have had a gastric bypass, how does that change your gut?
There are different gastric bypass surgeries.
Right.
And so based on how much they took out, what they did, if they did a sleeve, whatever the case may be, all those things can impact it. Also, because of how fat may be absorbed, other things can be absorbed, or things are processed after the surgery based on exactly what was done, then that also has the potential to impact the gut microbiome. And then it's not just about the food. I mean, you have a lot of hormonal fluxes and a lot of feedback loops in the brain. So it's really a very complicated not one size fits all. It depends on the surgery, the foods, other things going on in your life, the medications you're taking that impact this versus this. And so it's just like think of a plate of spaghetti. So there are definitely things that are going on, but that is such a deep, complicated question. I wouldn't even know how to unpack it, particularly in a short period of time. But that being said, certainly if the person is still seeing the bariatric surgeon, then ask that doctor also. You'd be surprised how much stuff is available online. You may even find I would do something reputable like WebMD. But Google it and see and put in scholarly articles for, and not just Dr. Joe on the farm gives his opinion. Because if you put in scholarly articles, then you may be able to take that, put it in ChatGPT, ask them to translate it to you. But again, talk to your doctor, because ChatGPT is going to make mistakes. Articles are articles, and there may be an article after that contradicts that. So the bottom line is your doctor is your key. Then you can do some preliminary research on your own.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and there was actually a question in the chat from Casey who said, can you give your perspective on the benefits of fasting?
I'd be happy to. I fast mainly for religious reasons, but I have noticed that after a period of time, when I do nutritional fast, I used to do isogenic fasting. I wasn't that hungry. There's like a switch flipped. And while initially I may have a headache, I may be tired, I noticed, by the end of the day or even to the next day, I'm okay. Just stay hydrated. And then when I went back to eating again, it's like, well, now I'm going to feel all this fullness and, weighed down. That was what I did before I really flipped my diet. I have a whole food plant-based diet now. And so I don't, unless I fall off the wagon, which I rarely do, I don't have that sensation that I am really, overwhelmed because I'm eating plants all the time. So I think fasting definitely has a role. But the thing with fasting is you really need to talk to your doctor. I mean, fasting even can have a role in diabetes. But that is so delicate. The last thing you want to do is end up in the ICU because your blood sugar plummeted. So I can't give any advice on fasting. I would say, for me, I fast. But I've learned my limitations with fasting, and I don't have any concerning medical issues that I would have to deal with. And so if you're looking at fasting, if you're over 20, which chances are you are, if you're over 20, over 30, you have any significant health issues, run it by your doctor.
Great. Okay, she says thank you. Okay, anybody else with questions? I don't see anything else in chat, so. I'll ask another question because I am curious because I have heard about the eating. You talked about the stretch receptors in the stomach and whatnot. And I have heard about eating until you're comfortably full. So I imagine those are related, but tuning into being able to tell when you're comfortably full, because the signals are delayed, right, back to the brain and all of that. So I heard you talk about the processed foods and all that kind of stuff, but any guidance for being able to tune into that and really, get that right level of feeling comfortably full and knowing this is the point at which I should stop?
Yes. First of all, if you're eating mainly plant-based foods, you have so much fiber and you can eat so much more with a fraction of the calories. But even that being said, I believe it's the blue zones. There's some group of people who are particularly healthy, and they say when you're 80% full, push the plate back. But what I would say is, if you're getting to the point that you feel that your belly is getting big, you've got to undo your pants, you've gone too far. But if you go slowly, then you'll have an understanding, I could eat more, but I don't really want to. You look at the food, like you could go either way. I think that's what I do. I'm looking at it like, well, it tastes good, but I can do without the calories. I just push it away.
Got it.
So once you get to that point that you can do with it or without it, and you're not just, I'm starving, I need more food, then that's a good point to step away from the table.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. Dr.
You're
Ivanka.
Yes, thank you.
Hi.
And thank you for the presentation. How does the course get into like hormone education? How much do we need to know about our hormones when it comes to weight management? And also the second part of the question is how much is the actual course?
So the first part, Dr. Jasingani, she's an endocrinologist. She does part of it, and so she does talk about hormones overall. But as far as very deep information, the bottom line is really when we grow older, our metabolism can change, and an underactive thyroid is the main hormone test your doctor's going to look for when you're starting to gain weight, because hypothyroidism, underactive thyroid, definitely is associated with your weight. So in addition to that, a lot of medications, steroids put on weight. Various medications change your appetite. So any medication doctor gives you, if it's a long-term medication, you need to find out from the pharmacist, is this going to increase your appetite? And if you find that it is increasing your appetite, see if there is a one-to-one swap. The course is $179, and it has, the different sections that I talked about. I also just started a channel a couple of days ago, and I'm going to be putting snippets of various courses I have in the medium level of the channel, just so people can get an idea of what's going on. And if they're going to subscribe to the channel, then that's just like an extra perk for the third level.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Quick question. Do you have anything that's coming up as far as like group coaching or anything that you might do for weight loss group coaching sessions or something that you might offer as an academy at any point in the future?
Yes, I do have coaching, an academy level coaching course. That being said, even though there are specific things dealing with lifestyle medicine, as long as it is something in my field of expertise, I don't have to specifically stick to that, because you do the coaching as one-on-one with me. If your focus is, I want to focus on weight, we can do that. I would need to know early rather than, we start the first session and I need to tweak it. Also, I have in my channel, one level has like a monthly coaching as part of that channel. And so when people, if there are specific things that they want to talk about, they say, several people say, the next coaching session or the next 2 coaching sessions, let's deal with obesity, or let's deal with high blood pressure, let's deal with whatever else. They're not set in stone. This is about serving the needs of the people who are subscribers. And so if people want to talk about specific topics, then that's where we're going. That being said, I'm an internist, so I'm not going to talk about pediatrics or prenatal care, but short of that, everything I'm dealing with, it is not medical advice. I am giving coaching on natural ways to change your health trajectory, and there's so many different topics. And not only can people ask for specific things, the coaching is going to be recorded, and I'm going to put that back on the platform. So if you miss it and you're subscribed to that level, you can go back and see it later.
Fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you all for staying.
Coach Dr. Ann, it's wonderful. Always great information, and just so relevant to so many people today. So thank you so much for sharing that. And we'll go ahead and make our switch now. If you'd like to, Sandra, if you'd like to